Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the December edition of Wine and Words. I hope that you're keeping warm and cozy today during the snow. And I am here today for Wine and Words December edition with some festive December poems. We have several holidays this month that we're celebrating, and I have some poems to celebrate some of those holidays. The first one celebrates Hanukkah that we are nearing the end of, and it's called Light the Festive Candles. Light the Festive Candles is written by Aileen Lucia Fisher, and it goes like this. For Hanukkah. Light the first of 8 tonight, the farthest candle to the right. Light the first and second too, when tomorrow's day is through. Then light 3 and then light 4, every dusk one candle more, till all 8 burn bright and high, honoring a day gone by, when the temple was restored, rescued from the Syrian lord, and an 8-day feast proclaimed, the festival of lights well named, to celebrate the joyous day when we regained the right to pray to our one God in our own way. That is Light the Festive Candles in honor of Hanukkah, which is ongoing right now. The next poem that I'd like to share with you today is called The Snow Arrives After Long Silence. That's pretty appropriate for this afternoon, don't you think? The Snow Arrives After a Long Silence by Nancy Willard. The snow arrives after long silence from its high home where nothing leaves, tracks or stains or keeps time. The sky it fell from, pale as oatmeal, bears up like sheep before shearing. The cat at my window watches, amazed. So many feathers and no bird. All day the snow sets its table with clean linen, putting its house in order. The hungry deer walk on the risen loaves of snow. You can follow the broken hearts, their hooves punch in its crust. Night after night the big plows rumble and bale it like dirty laundry and haul it to the Hudson. Now I scan the sky for snow and the cool cheek it offers me, and its body thinned into petals, and the still cave where it sleeps. I really like the imagery that that poem brings up. I really like how it describes the sky pale as oatmeal. We can kind of picture that on a day like today when it's snowing. The sky looks like oatmeal. I also like how it talks about the cat looking outside, looking out at the feathers and no bird, for all of those snow falling down. I think that there's a lot of really beautiful imagery in that poem. The snow arrives after a long silence. Really beautiful poem for a day like today. The next poem is for Christmas, only about a week away now, if you can believe it or not. This is called Help Wanted by Timothy Tocher. Santa needs new reindeer. The first bunch has grown old. Dasher has arthritis. Comet hates the cold. Prancer's sick of staring at Dasher's big behind. Cupid married Blitzen, and Donner's lost his mind. Dancer's mad at Vixen for stepping on his toes. Vixen's being thrown out. She laughed at Rudolph's nose. If you are a reindeer, we hope you will apply. There is just one tricky part. You must know how to fly. That cute, whimsical poem is called Help Wanted by Timothy Tocher. Hopefully that puts you in a festive mood. The next poem is called Mistletoe by Walter de la Mare. Sitting under the mistletoe, pale green fairy mistletoe, one last candle burning low, all the sleepy dancers gone, just one candle burning on, shadows lurking everywhere, someone came and kissed me there. Then, tired I was, my head would go, nodding under the mistletoe, pale green fairy mistletoe. No footsteps came, no voice, but only, just as I sat there, sleepy, lonely, stooped in the still and shadowy air, lips unseen, and kissed me there. That poem is called Mistletoe by Walter de la Mare. The next one is called Before Christmas by Landis Everson. Almost, the first reindeer, shipped north by boxcar from Lapland, but a toy model got there first. A dwarf invented reindeer on his own. He was Santa's favorite. He hadn't known they already existed. This discouraged dwarf was close to taking his life, but Santa showed up encircled by snow. He said, "I will use the real reindeer for my sled, always in yoke to your original invention." That night the gears that turned the pole stopped and began to turn the other way. So it be so. My love is a toy model waiting for a reindeer to carry me. The next poem is called Little Tree by E. E. Cummings, one of my favorites. E. E. Cummings, Little Tree. Little tree, little silent Christmas tree, you are so little, you are more like a flower. Who found you in the green forest, and were you so very sorry to come away? See, I will comfort you, because you smell so sweetly. I will kiss your cool bark and hug you safe and tight, just as your mother would. Only don't be afraid. Look, the spangles that sleep all the year in a dark box, dreaming of being taken out and allowed to shine. The balls, the chains, red and gold, the fluffy threads. Put up your little arms and I'll give them all to you to hold. Every finger shall have its ring, and there won't be a single place dark or unhappy. Then when you're quite dressed, you'll stand there in the window for everyone to see. And how they'll stare. Oh, but you'll be so very proud. And my little sister and I will take hands, and looking up at our beautiful tree, we'll dance and sing Noel, Noel. That was Little Tree by E. E. Cummings. I like how it talks about dressing up the tree, what many of us are doing now. This one is very appropriate for this evening. It's Robert Frost's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping there to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. That was Robert Frost's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. The next one is actually lyrics of a song. which you may or may not be familiar with. It's by a songwriter, Dar Williams. It's called The Christians and the Pagans. It's about a get-together of a Christian family and their pagan niece on Christmas Eve. Amber called her uncle, said, "We're up here for the holiday. Jane and I were having solstice. Now we need a place to stay." And her Christ-loving uncle watched his wife hang Mary on a tree. He watched his son hang candy canes, all made with red dye number 3. He told his niece, "It's Christmas Eve. I know our life is not your style." She said, "Christmas is like solstice, and we miss you, and it's been a while." So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground the best that they were able. And just before the meal was served, hands were held and prayers were said, sending hope for peace on earth to all their gods and goddesses. The food was great, the tree plugged in, the meal had gone without a hitch, till Timmy turned to Amber and said, "Is it true that you're a witch?" His mom jumped up and said, "The pies are burning," and she hit the kitchen. And it was Jane who spoke and said, "It's true, your cousin's not a Christian. But we love trees, we love the snow, the friends we have, the world we share, and you find magic from your God, and we find magic everywhere." So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground the best that they were able. And where does magic come from? I think magic's in the learning, 'cause now when Christians sit with pagans, only pumpkin pies are burning. When Amber tried to do the dishes, her dad said, "Really, no, don't bother." Amber's uncle saw how Amber looked like Tim and like her father. He thought about his brother, how they hadn't spoken in a year. He thought he'd call him up and say, "It's Christmas, and your daughter's here." He thought of fathers, sons, and brothers, saw his own son tug his sleeves, saying, "Can I be a pagan?" Dad said, "We'll discuss it when they leave." So the Christians and the pagans sat together at the table, finding faith and common ground the best that they were able, lighting trees in darkness, learning new ways from the old, and making sense of history and drawing warmth out of the cold. That was The Christians and the Pagans, a song, lyrics, written by Dar Williams. I hope you enjoyed it. Our next poem is called December 31st. It's right around the corner. Just here's December 31st by Richard Hoffman. All my undone actions wander, naked across the calendar. A band of skinny hunter-gatherers, blown snow scattered here and there, stumbled toward a future, folded in the new year I secure. With a pushpin, January's picture, a painting from the 17th century, a still life, skull and mirror, spilled coin purse, and a flower. That was December 31st by Richard Hoffman. The next one is called For the Time Being by Carmen Bugan. We are fine, they say, for the time being. Enough food in the pantry, the prescriptions filled, no need to go out of the house except to let the dog run in the yard. Our road has fallen silent. We can hear the trees. Near the river, it feels like a long Sunday. But without the church, there is plenty of time to watch the trees bloom. When was the last time? The elderly are used to sitting the days, but we are also fine, the younger ones, for the time being. We have time to play with our children, bake, wash the curtains, and make love again, finally. Now that the shelves at the shops are empty and the parking lots are drive-through, testing labs, we have time to pray for those who are dying in the hospitals. We pray the nurses will stay healthy through extended working shifts. We pray the doctors get a good night's sleep before they fight to grip life slipping through their hands for the time being. In other countries, many sing from their balconies to cheer each other up through so much dying. We call, check in, reassure, and smile from a distance, hoping for the time being. I hope that you've enjoyed this installment of December's Wine and Words. I hope that if you're not drinking wine this afternoon, that you're drinking something warm and cozy, and that you're just cuddled up, all snug, and that you have the happiest of holiday seasons. Happy holidays from Haverford Township Free Library. All the best. We'll see you next month for Wine and Words. Thank you for joining me. Bye.